welcome to my YouTube channel, Politics with Sherry Jacobus. Thank you for subscribing. And if you just happen to find me from scrolling around, help me out and hit that subscribe button if you like what you see and hear. So we actually, I think, have some good and promising news to talk about. That's not always the case in this era of Trump, as we know. But I'm looking at these new poll numbers. Get this. This is, let's see. Oh, this isn't going to make Trump very happy. This is the AP/NORC poll, NORC. The approval for Trump is 37%. His disapproval is 61%. Yes, that's a 6-1. Let's see the new lows on key issues: immigration -14, economy -26, healthcare -36. I mean, he just doesn't. He's just not doing it. He just doesn't doing it. So I think his approval is still higher than it should be, of course. But means we still have our work to do. So tomorrow we've got our No Kings protests, not just all over the country, but all over the world. And we're supposed to wear yellow. I look bad in yellow, so I don't have any, except maybe a hat, but I'll find a way. We'll put it on a sign or something. I'm in Washington, D.C. Here's the thing. You see Trump and his goons stepping up their rhetoric. They're trying to paint anybody who goes to these rallies as extremist. We hate America. I think we've been called Antifa. Pretty soon he's going to call all of us terrorists. Right now they're cherry picking a little bit who they identify as terrorists. But here's the thing. There are going to be millions and millions of people protesting peacefully tomorrow. Expect Trump to have plants there. They're going to try to incite violence, but there really is safety in numbers. You know how we've been talking about recently? I said, I think the candidates for the Democratic nomination for 2028, it's going to be what they've already done rather than what they plan to do. About Trump, it's about using the power you have, like Gavin Newsom, like Pritzker. The people who are using the power that they have, however small or big, are going to have the edge, because we are in this now. And I see increasingly that individual people who've never been activists or worked in politics before are using what power they have. And that power may be, well, I can call or email my elected representatives. I can go to my rallies. I can find a MAGA friend and make sure they have the proper information. Everybody has some power. So you use what you have. And I think what we're going to see is a lot of people tomorrow, millions and millions of people tomorrow, using their power by showing up, because there's even more power in numbers. I think especially those that maybe didn't bother to vote, last time. But whoever you are, this force of unity and protesting Trump is going to be so big and so strong, we hope, if we all do our jobs right, that the Speaker of the House is going to pause before calling this many Americans terrorists or America haters or, left-wing extremists. And, I'm not a left-wing extremist. I was a Republican operative and on TV as a Republican strategist for like 17, 20 years. But Trump has a way of uniting people who maybe had been opposed on some issues before. And then we find out that maybe we weren't as far apart on those issues as we thought. That is the one thing that is crystallizing in this era of Trump. But I think I've said this before. I think a lot of people who opposed Trump, didn't vote for him, they kind of kept quiet about it because maybe they live in a MAGA town, or you just don't talk politics at the country club or at work, or, whatever the case may be, in your neighborhood, in your social group. And they didn't want to cause divisions, that sort of thing. There's women, girls that I went to high school with, that I did not know their politics for decades. I think I've shared all this with you before. But something has happened now since Trump has been reelected. I kind of knew in the first administration, in the sense that they were not Trump fans. Well, now we have people who have never been to a rally or a protest down there in the town square of the little small town that they live in, protesting with their signs. Again, I didn't know their party registration, never knew their politics. I find this so encouraging, and this has been going on for about a year. And I think tomorrow we're going to see a lot more of that. I think activism to save our democracy from Trump and his goons, and from I think obviously the January 6th crew was they were domestic terrorists. They are now in ICE. They've all been pardoned. I think what Trump is unleashing on this country has got a lot of people saying, you know what? There's no cavalry coming to save us. We are the cavalry. And that's what we're going to see tomorrow, not just in this country, but in anti-Trump, no kings protests around the world. Solidarity with people who love America, appreciate us the way we've always been, and understand now how Trump and J.D. Vance and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Mike Johnson and Stephen Miller, what they've done to destroy this country. Kristi Noem with Corey Lewandowski as her puppeteer behind her. The lies, the extremism, the language inciting violence, just the unbelievable things that we cannot believe is happening in America, that these people have power. Just their blatant lying, and their racism. It's disgusting. It's sickening. And thumbing their nose at the Constitution and the rule of law. I say it ad nauseum, as you know, maybe you all are now too, because I think it matters when we get real down. Close elections are won or lost in the margins. So when we feel that MAGA is so strong and they're like a tidal wave with their massive amounts of lies, just denying things, or maybe in real life, maybe you have MAGA that pretend they didn't know this, that, or the other thing. And maybe they didn't. They only watch Fox News. They're certainly not getting the truth. So you have to show it to them. That's where your power comes in. You have 10 MAGA friends. If you can flip one, think if we all were able to do that. But right now, because of the stepped up rhetoric, ridiculous rhetoric by Carolyn Levitt, by Mike Johnson, by Trump, the crap that is coming out of these people's mouths, I'm telling you, what they're trying to do is win MAGA over to think that all the rest of us are terrorists and Antifa and anti-America. No, we're all showing up tomorrow. No one's paying us. Oh, that's another line they're using. We're all getting paid. Honey, I've never been paid a dime for this. And I know none of you watching this have been either. There's no payment going out. We are showing up on our own dime, because we love this country, and we are not going to let these MAGA terrorists take it away from us. They've done enough. We're sick of their lies. We're sick of their inciting violence. We're sick of their actual violence, the Gestapo of Trump's, his ICE agents, and now he's trying to turn the National Guard into that. So thank goodness we still have some judges, I think I talked about this yesterday, that are standing up to Trump. Certainly some governors are. I am insisting still that Chuck Schumer do the same by facilitating these daily press briefings to fact check Trump. Because again, think about it. Say you're out to dinner or something with your MAGA friends, if you're still doing that, and you're having a conversation that turns into an argument where they simply are denying the truths that you're telling them. But think if those truths were so widespread that they were on a daily fact-checking press briefing, and not just fact-checking, but to say what Democrats are doing in the places where they can, where they're unified. And this is daily, and it'll be on par with the White House press briefings. It'd be live streamed, so all the podcasts could pick it up. I mean, and people could put it on their Facebook page. This is how you make the truth go viral. You don't even have, the press will be covering it too. Of course, Trump kicked most of them out of the White House, but I've mentioned this before. There are literally thousands of members of the press housed in the House and Senate press galleries at the Capitol. So this would be their beat. Think how much easier it would make your job, and how much more power and influence you would have in your own life in terms of fighting for freedom. But tomorrow, we're all going to be there, and we're going to make it very, very hard for them to incite violence. They will have plants in there. They're going to try and do this. We all know it. We've been talking about it. But we're going to be sending a big message. And Trump won't care, but you know who will? Those Republican House Senate members, and maybe some Democrats too, that need to step up. They're going to realize we ain't playing. And it has to be a fear thing. I hate to say it like this, but the Republicans in Congress are driven by fear of Trump. because they think controls all these MAGA votes and they're just going to get swarmed. Well, we just saw the poll numbers that I brought to you here at the beginning of this video, and they don't look good for Trump. That's going to scare some Republican members of Congress because they're like, well, we can't depend on Trump to save us. So now they see, everybody's going to see millions and millions and millions of people out in full force tomorrow. Not just little extremists, not what, they're going to try and, make us all look like idiots. It's just a few left-wing idiots, It's mothers and grandmas and dads and uncles and grandpas and sisters and aunts and your coworker and your next door neighbor and, the person at the checkout at the grocery store, just regular normal people, maybe coworkers. We're going to make it really hard for them to paint us that way. And again, when the MAGA see this, and as I said, Trump's numbers are already down. When the MAGA see that, Trump and Fox News been lying to them, they're going to take a step back. They're going to take a step back, many of them. And that is a victory. That is a victory in my view. So I'm looking forward to this. Yay, Trump's poll numbers are in the toilet, as they should be. Let's make it go even further down the toilet for him, shall we?